Okay, Dee, the platform is yours, my dear.
Hello. How are y'all?
Good. We're excited.
I'm so excited. Jocelyn, I wanted to tell you thank you. I know I messaged you this morning telling you how thankful I was for this. Like, this is something I'm so excited about. And I know, just to kind of tell you how me and my husband first found out about you was when I first joined. I joined in April of last year, 2016. And when I joined first, he joined in late April. So pretty much the same time. He was like all about the YouTube videos and trying to like just figure out who was successful in this business and who was not, and what to do and what not to do. And he was like, I used to like, babe, you can't show me any more videos. Like, there's too much. And he came across Jocelyn, and he was like, yes. And he was like, you have to like watch her. Like, Jocelyn, I have to tell you, like, I'm trying to look at you, but I'm not looking at you. Like, for me, a lot of the people that we follow, for me, it was like you were natural, you were sincere, you seemed real, and your videos were just, and he sends your How to Go Ruby video to our team all the time, but it was just like you were, I don't know, like just easy to understand and easy to comprehend, and just a person that, and you're young, but it was just someone that you could really just relate to. And I don't know, like, it just hit home for us, and it was like, you need to really watch her. So we started following you, I guess, when we first started, and it was back when you first started. But I just want to thank you for one, responding to my message and taking the time out of your night. I know you're a busy lady, to doing this for us. So you can say whatever you'd like to say.
Oh, yeah, and thanks so much for messaging me. I know that's one of the biggest things. Like, I remember being in your shoes, being a double diamond, and I had these people that I was looking up to, you know, like Jade was a presidential diamond at the time, and I was like, oh my gosh, Jade just said she'd be on a team call, and it seriously motivated me so much more, and I know it's something that your team will definitely look up to. So thanks for reaching out. But you know, it's crazy because I remember listening to a training that Jade actually did clear back when I was a double diamond, and she said, if you are rocking in this business, you need to be making training videos, because there's going to be a time in your business when you get into this slump, and when you're in this slump, you're going to wish you would have made training videos about when you're rocking the business, because then literally, like, anytime I'm in a slump, I can go back and watch the videos that I made myself as a double diamond, and I look and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing that anymore. And so it's cool, because you can literally, if you're recording yourself doing training videos for your team, putting on YouTube, whatever, you can go back and use that to better your own business in the future. So I thought that was really cool.
Yes, I'm just so excited that you took the time out of your day to do it for us. So I guess first, I know the biggest thing is, so for anyone that just joined or that's new to the whole business, I guess just give us kind of a quick, you know, introduction, background, how you got started, and kind of your story on like what your why is, because that's what we tell everybody to remember, is what their why is.
Yeah, so I have a cool experience about my why too that I can't wait to share. But I found this business at a bridal expo when I was 19 years old. I was not engaged, but I was at this expo actually modeling wedding dresses. And so in the free time between the fashion shows, I went and entered every single free drawing. And a few weeks later, I get a phone call from a lady, and she says, hey, you didn't win a free wrap, but you can still try one for $25. Are you interested? And after she kind of told me what it did, literally, like, who wouldn't want to spend $25 in the hopes that they could get skinnier in 45 minutes? You know, like, it's a no-brainer. And so I've always been super self-conscious, believe it or not. And I was legitimately looking at spending hundreds of dollars on trying that ultrasound fat burning treatment. And so when I could try this for $25, I was all for it. And I remember trying my first rep. I had no clue what to do. And during that time, I was eating junk food the entire time. 45 minutes later, I had a little bit of results. And then the 72 hours later, there was a huge difference. And so at that point, I have such like a yellow personality where I'm always wanting to help other people. And so as soon as I tried my wrap and had really good results, I immediately was like, oh my gosh, mom, sisters, friends, you have to try this. Like, it's $25 and you can get skinnier. You don't even have to do anything. And so I probably referred like 5 or 6 or 7 people to the lady I bought my wrap from, made her over $300 in wrap cash. And then she finally said, hey, why don't you sign up to sell this and make money off of your family and friends instead of making me money? And I probably spent like $100 on wraps before I even started anyway. So it was kind of a no-brainer, plus the discount. And so it took me a little bit to save up the money because I also wanted to get that mini booster kit to get the extra free products. And so I ended up starting in the middle of March. And then I kind of was just ignorance on fire. And really, it was big ignorance. You'll see why in a second. But and I was really good at getting wrap cash because I bought a wrap for $25, so I knew there was going to be a ton of other girls that were going to my singles ward at church that were going to want this too. You know, I was telling them like, hey, you don't have to suck in a dress anymore at church. Like, you got to get one of these. And so I was selling tons of wrap cash, and then I probably made from retail customers on my website and loyal customers just from people I knew at church and girls that I was friends with on Facebook. I made over $450 in my first month. Plus all the wrap cash, and I made at least $300 then. And then I was like, cool, I am making residual income. I don't have to do anything, and I'm going to keep getting paid $500 every single month. And it didn't work like that. It did not work like that. And so gradually over the summer, my paycheck went clear back down to like maybe $48. And I was living at home at the time. I was 19, single. My parents both told me before I joined not to do it, that this was a pyramid scheme, that I would never make my money back. And so when my paycheck went back down to like $50, my mom leaned over to me one day and she said, why are you still doing that? You're not making any money. And I was like a smack in my face. I was like, okay, I joined to prove you guys wrong, and I have to prove you wrong. And so that's when things kind of started changing for me. I started plugging into like team calls, like corporate conference calls, one team, one missions. I would drive 2.5 hours to go to Vegas to go to a one team, one mission or a team training. And so what that did for me was I was able at this training to realize that I was afraid and didn't believe enough in myself that I could do the steps to success. And so what happened was at this training, my upline, the person that signed my enroller was Stephanie Dunn. And she was there at this training. And she basically said, tune me at this thing, because it was kind of like how the Ruby bonus was, where if you did the steps to success, you got $500. And so I was like, okay, I don't think I could do that. Like, the steps to success, it's too hard. I can't do it. And she just kind of told me, well, why don't you just shoot for it and see what happens? And so I left that training. I don't know what she said or anything, but I just left thinking, okay, why not see what happens? And I ended up earning that $500 bonus just from doing the steps to success. And I kind of had this aha moment that carried me so much further. Was if I made $500 from doing the steps to success one time, what would happen if I did the steps to success again? Would I make another $500? What if I did it again? Would I make another $500? And so that was my goal from then on, is to keep doing the steps to success and see how many $500 I could make. And my journey was slow. It did take me 9 months to promote to executive. But from that point, I went from executive in January of 2015. 2 months later, I was a diamond in my fiance at the time, Taylor, my husband, was an emerald. And he was super skeptical too. I signed him up without his permission. I was like, hey, what's your social? Signed him up. But, and then it was ignorance on fire at that point. You know, I knew that if I signed up 4 customers, 3 distributors, and then got them fast start qualified every single month, that I would make at least $500. And so then I was like, well, if I want to make $2,000, I've just got to do the steps to success 4 times. And so that was just like my mindset. And obviously from then on my 2-year mark with It Works, I went presidential and my husband went triple. And then on my 3-year month mark, I went ambassador and my husband went presidential. And then I should be going diamond this month. So I'm super excited about that. But the cool thing about my why is I honestly had a really hard time figuring out what that was, besides wanting to prove my parents and my husband wrong. Once I had done those things, and then once I got to ambassador, like I kind of just wanted to do it so I could show myself that I could. But I kept looking back thinking like, man, I don't really have a big why. Like some of these people that we hear about, they were homeless, or you guys have babies, or, you know, like things like that. And I felt like I didn't have anything that was super strong as a why. But I've been listening to a personal development book, How to Master Your Time by Brian Tracy. And in this, it's really good because he teaches you how to like manage your time so that you can accomplish everything that you want and dream. And so the thing that like really hit me that I do have a strong why is he just said, okay, if you have $1 million that was just instantly deposited into your bank account, 100% tax-free, $1 million, what would that money allow you to do? And then I sat and thought about it for a minute, and I was like, okay, if I had $1 million right now, I would be putting a big down payment on a dream home, like $1 million home, so that Taylor and I in the future can raise a family in that house. And then I realized, done, that's my why. And so that's one of the exercises I love doing with my team now, is asking, okay, what would you do with $1 million if you had $1 million right now? Because that's literally what you can do with this business.
There you go. Okay, well that's awesome, and I think that's an amazing why. So we all would love to have $1 million home. Okay, so one of the big questions that we got from the group was what kind of message do you send? So like if you're trying to get potential loyal customers or potential distributors, what would be your like main wording, or what is your message type for potential LCs and DTs?
Let's see. So for whatever reason, the 90-day challenge for loyals has never worked for me. So when somebody's asking me about the products, I give them like super basic information, like, oh, this is what the wrap does. It tightens, tones, and firms in 45 minutes, etc. I tell them a little bit about that. And then if they ask me how much it costs, I say it's normally retail, or it's only this much as a loyal customer. So as wraps as an example, it's normally $100, or you can become a loyal customer and get them for only $59. And then everybody wants something cheaper, so they're always going to ask me next, what is a loyal customer? And the cool thing is sometimes you feel like you always have to ask a question at the end of your message to get them to respond. But my goal is to get them to ask the questions. So I always try to leave my statement open-ended so that they want to ask me. They're fishing for more information. And that goes to show you that, man, they're really interested. So they'll ask me what a loyal customer is. And then I'll say a loyal customer is somebody that orders one product for 3 months. You can change the product each month, and everything is wholesale price. Sometimes I don't even say that last part. Sometimes I just say it's one product for 3 months, and then you keep the wholesale pricing for life. And I've noticed that when I keep it that simple, not only do I have loyals that sign a lot easier, but when I show them the other products, then they find something they like and they stick on longer. So I keep it super simple that way. 90-day challenge hasn't really worked for me. I do post saying 90-day challenge because for whatever reason that's appealing. But when I'm actually talking to somebody, that's when I say the different pricing as a loyal customer. And then if they ask about the 90-day challenge, I say it's the same thing. Okay, and then as far as distributors go, usually, like if they say like, hey, can you tell me more about what you do? I always ask them first if they are familiar with It Works. And then I ask them like if they're familiar with the wraps. And if they're not, then that's when I can talk about the wraps and how we're the only company that has them and get them excited that way. But typically, like if I know they already know what it is because they've been following me for a while, then I'll tell them, okay, I'm going to send you some information and then I can answer all of the questions that you have. And then I give them what I call my 3 reasons spiel. And basically what that is 3 distinct reasons why this is an amazing business opportunity. And this is where it's my chance to show them my passion and excitement for the business. So number 1 is because we're the only company that has the wraps. Number 2 is the fact that we are paid to advertise. And number 3 is that this is a ground floor opportunity. And I always compare our company to other companies with the fact that we only have around 100,000 paid distributors, and other companies have anywhere from 4 to 7 or more million distributors. So in order for our company to get that big, you have to times our company by 40 to 70, which is insane. And so I just share that and say there's a lot of money to be made and I'd love to help you make it. And then they ask questions. How much does it cost to get started? How do you get paid? And I know like tons of my videos on YouTube also have all this verbiage in there too. But I think the most important thing is when you are talking to a potential distributor, you need to show them the passion that you have. If they can feel how excited you are about this business, and they're going to feel that same excitement. So that's my goal when I'm telling them these 3 reasons. And then from there, most of the time they're sold, like they can see the opportunity that they could have with this business. And so the other questions that they have, I mean, I don't have to sweet talk them into it. I just give them the answer. Oh, it's $99 to get started. Oh, we get paid from wrap cash, commissions, and bonuses. It's nice because then you can keep it super simple.
Yep, that's simple as I guess the key to go. Nobody wants to read a whole lot of. It gets confusing that way. Okay, so let's see. What would you say is your method of getting a new distributor started? Like, what do you do? So if you sign someone yesterday, what do you do to get them like going?
Okay, let me see if I can pull it up on my left screen. I have a welcome text that I send them, and then there is a specific post that I made in our team page that I tag everybody in. It walks them through like the super basic stuff. And so the reason why I love having just one post to tag them in on the team page is I know that if they go through those things, that they're serious about the business. And so I walk them through that, but honestly, the first thing is getting them their loyal customers. So the welcome message that I send once they sign up, it just says like, I'm so excited to work with you. Can you add me as a friend on Facebook? Once you're added into this group, I'm going to tag you in this post and we're going to follow it step by step. And then I just tell them, okay, our first goal is to get you your 4 customers. And then I kind of give them an example of what a customer is. And I tell them, if you had amazing news, who are the first 4 people you would tell that news to? And then I tell them exactly what I was saying earlier. A loyal customer is someone who orders any product for 3 months in a row at wholesale price. Telling them reaching out is going to get your customers faster than just posting. But then I also say, okay, here is, would you like a sample post? So kind of like what I was saying earlier, I want them to either ask me questions or I want to end with a question. And so I ask them if they want a sample post. So then I don't have that problem where I sign in a new distributor and I can't get them to respond to me because they always want a sample post. And so once I get them added into the team page, there's 10 steps that I have them do. So I'll just kind of summarize the 10 things that I have on this post. You can change it however you want. But the first one is we just welcome them, make sure they feel welcome. The second one is making sure they know how to search in the team page to answer their questions, and then also how to find other sample posts. The third one is walking them through eSuite. So some of the things I do with eSuite is get them in the It Works You tab. And if they can, I have them print off 4 things: the steps to success, a Ruby chart, the compensation plan, and the It Works You guidebook. And the cool thing, if you didn't know, the It Works You guidebook summarizes all of the videos. So if you ever have somebody that complains that the videos don't pull up, they need to download the It Works You guidebook. The It Works You guidebook also has a description of every single product. And so one of the things you can do for them is have them read through what each product does and write down anywhere from 1 to 4 names on each product of somebody that they think might be interested in trying that product. And then by the end, they're going to have a list of almost 100 people that could potentially be their customers. Okay, then the next thing I have them do is know how to find information about the products. So I walk them through the documents with the product information in eSuite and the product coach. I give them those 2 resources. Number 5 is I have them start creating a 100s list, but I have them start at 30 just so it's not too overwhelming. And then I tell them, like, these are the people that you're going to reach out to before you get your starter kit. Then number 6, I give them 3 examples of a first post so that they have different options that they can use, because I know some people want to just jump on the bandwagon and say, okay guys, like, I'm ready for this, I'm looking for 4 product testers. And then there's other people that want to, like, be more ambiguous and say, like, hey, I'm so excited about this new adventure we're going on. So we give them a few options with sample posts. Then number 7 is 3 examples of messages that they can send to friends about becoming customers. And then number 8 is 3 examples of messages to send to friends about becoming distributors. Number 9 is just really making sure that they know that if they want to be successful in this business, that it's not going to come from their upline, it's not going to come from their downline, it's going to come from them. And then I switch it the other way and say, if you fail at this business, it's not from your upline, it's not from your downline, it's from you. And just really stress and reiterate that they are the one that's in complete control of their business, but that we're there to help them and be a resource to them. And just we mention and reiterate, like, you're going to have people that are negative, but that's okay. We all get that. And then the very last step, number 10, is I just explain the steps to success and how that's their goal every single month. So, I mean, it's super simple. It's all the things that we know we should be teaching our new distributors, but to have it all in one place in our team page has been super helpful.
Okay, so thank you for that. I like the 10 steps. That makes it really clear and easy for them to grasp and just carry their day. So speaking of your day, what would you say? We always get like what's an ambassador's day look like? Like, how many people do you say you message daily? What's your commenting? Your kind of your strategy on that. Your posting, sharing. Like, what would you say your average day looks like from the time you get up to the time you go to bed?
So when I'm really good, I try to post at least 6 times a day, and that's following Jade's 3-3 rule. Because I have noticed if I'm not consistent with posting about both the products and the business, I don't get as much interaction or people interested overall. And so that's very important, but especially working social media, you've always got to have that perspective. Like, where I live right now, it's 8:26. But people that live in Hawaii, it's only 5 o'clock there. But people on the East Coast, it's 10 o'clock there. So people in Florida are going to bed, so they're going to be checking their phones, and I want them to see my post. So if I don't post right now, they're probably not going to see it. But then I got to remember, okay, if I post in 2 hours, that's about dinner time in Hawaii, so they're going to see my post right before they eat their dinner. And so I'm always thinking of different people that I'm following that are going to be in different time zones, and that's why you can't just post at the same time every single day. You want to post at different times during the day because you're going to reach different people in different areas of the world. So as an example too, like if you're trying to build a team in Australia, you've got to post in the middle of the night when it's the middle of the day over there so they see your posts, and vice versa. So posting consistently throughout the day is very important. Messaging people on a bad day, I probably message about 50 people. And the people that I message are people that have been following me for a long time, people that I've been friends with on Facebook for a long time. So not just like a day, I wait till it's been way longer than that. Anyone that likes or comments on my posts. And then a lot of it is following up, because that's where the fortune is in the follow-up. And then I'm very consistent with adding new people both on Facebook and Instagram every single day. There's no reason why you couldn't get 100 new followers a week on Instagram if you are consistent with adding new people. And on Facebook, I probably send out almost 100 friend requests a day. Not all of them accept that friend request, but the ones that do, I definitely get potentials interested that way. I think the biggest thing too is going throughout your day, always ask yourself 2 questions. Number 1, if you were an ambassador diamond right now, what would you be doing as an ambassador? Because usually whatever you were doing, you wouldn't do as an ambassador. You'd probably be working instead. And then the second question you want to ask yourself is this going to help me sign up a loyal customer or a distributor? If the answer is no, don't do it.
It's very true.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Okay, let's see. So let's say you signed a distributor yesterday. Like, what is your tips on helping that brand new distributor that doesn't know anything about the business? Maybe they just been following you for a short period of time. They know a little bit, but they don't know the details of it. Like, what are the tips you give them to sign on? So they've got their 4 loyal customers, but what do you do to help them get that first distributor?
So I think one thing that's really awesome that you can do, and I see you guys have some awesome top leaders on your team as your uplines. And so I'll have them post like my story or somebody on our team's story, since they're just starting, and just say, hey, like I'm just starting and I'm rocking it. Like I've already got 4 customers. I'm making commission and I'm working with this top income earner that is also going to be there to train you. And so that's something that's awesome. Or like if any of you guys went to conference and took pictures with some of the top leaders, post about them and say, hey, if you join with me, you also get tips from this top leader, whether it's a YouTube video or what, they don't care. But there's comfort in knowing that you are getting tips from people that have been there and done that. And, I also think of like Ashley Sinclair. She basically went up to people that she was friends with and said, hey, I'm going to go make $1 million in this company. Do you want to come? And so I think the biggest thing is they've just got to get out there and ask people. And so one of the things that I have them do is while they're making their 100s list is to think about, 25 to 30 people that they would love to work with, and just send them a thoughtful message about why they would love to work with them, and ask them, would you be interested in making an extra $600 a month with me? I mean, it's simple. I mean, we get paid to ask people to join us.
So the more personal you make it, the better.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So you mentioned follow-up earlier. I know, and that's for like one of my things, like I'm big on follow-up. I know that's where I get a ton of my loyal customers from. So one of the questions we get a lot is, so when it comes to follow-up, we know we're supposed to follow up, but like in your rule of thumb, what do you say? Like if you message someone or comment on something and you get a response, well, payday is in a couple weeks, or like, what is your rule of follow-up? Is it, obviously you don't want to harass the person, but what would you say your rule of thumb is for follow-up?
I know that if they've messaged me or even messaged me back about the products or the business, that they are interested. So that means that I will follow up with them until one of 2 things happens. Number 1, they sign up, or number 2, they tell me not to message them again. Only until one of those 2 things happen. And I still follow up with people that I started talking to back in 2013. And sometimes they just have to sit and watch. And then other times, now especially since I've been in for a long time, I can message them and say, hey, like, have you ever thought about where you could be in this business if you would have joined with me 3 years ago? What are you waiting for? And so I think that's the most important thing is you've got to realize that there's a person watching you on the other end of a Facebook message or on the other end of a phone number. You know, sometimes you just get so caught up in following up with as many phone numbers as you possibly can. But when you realize that there's a person on the other end of that phone that's reading those messages, I mean, think about it. How many times do you leave a message on your phone unread? I don't. You know they're reading them. So always keep that in mind. They're watching, they're just not ready yet. And then, you know, think about some of the people that are on your team. How many times did it take your upline to get you to sign up?
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right. So you said, you kind of answered this one earlier. So on method of increasing followers, I know you were saying you should be like, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to increase your followers by like 100 on Instagram a week. So do you just follow random people, or do you follow, like, what is your kind of your method in increasing your followers? And I know Instagram and Facebook are different, but what would you say is kind of your routine?
So the number one tip I have that's just easier for me is to just follow women. I feel more comfortable talking to other women just because then I don't have to get that weird, like, sketchy vibe sometimes from men. And then basically what I do is this is the mindset that I always have. Okay, somebody like me that I want to join my team, who would they be following on Instagram? Who do you think they'd be following, you know? And then I think, okay, I'm 23. I like buying clothes. I probably go to a college. You know, I probably like watching makeup tutorial videos. So I'm going to go to those profiles and look and see who's following those types of profiles. So maybe I find a clothing boutique or a makeup artist or a college, and I follow the girls that are following those because I figure, you know what, I'm going to have something in common with them. Other ways that you can do that is be very specific to finding things that you have in common with. Like Ashley Hughes found Ashley Olive, who's also an ambassador now, through the hashtag Twin Moms because they both have twins. You know, and I've signed up people on my team that have German Shepherds. So I think that's one thing that's really cool is to use hashtags to find things that are more specific to you. And then you can follow people that you have something in common with, whether it's like your religion, what kind of pet you have, what activities you like to do, what area you live in, your favorite restaurant. There's so many different ways that you can connect with people on Instagram. And then you just add people. You click follow, and then you interact with them on your feed, you know, like and comment on a few of their photos. Think about it this way too. If you were not in It Works and somebody, let's pretend you had no clue who I was, you're not in It Works, and I all of a sudden followed you, liked 5 of your pictures, and left a comment. And like, oh my gosh, your son is so cute. You're going to be like, who is this girl and what is she doing on my profile? So you're going to go to my page, and let's say you just had this son and you've been looking for a way to lose weight and you see me post about the system. You're going to comment or you're going to message me like, hey, you just followed me on Instagram. Can you tell me more about this? And you'd be surprised at how many people I have that message me saying, hey, you just followed me and I'm interested.
Yeah, and you make it sound really simple, and it is that. It really is probably that simple. And I know all of us, I think we overthink it at times, and we try to be so like perfect. And when it comes to like what you're talking about, the relation like with the twins or the German Shepherds, it's just about being you. Because people relate to who you are, and you may not be able to relate to her or him or whatever, but if you can find someone that relates to you, then that's the category of things you can go after.
And
well, go ahead.
One last tip with that. When you add people that you know they're going to see that you have something in common with them, you are instantly going to build a rapport with them. They're going to trust you more just because. And here's the perfect example. Let's pretend you go to conference and you meet somebody that is also from the same state that you're from. So if I met somebody that's from Utah, just because we're both from Utah, I feel more connected to them already. But let's take it up another step further. Let's pretend you go on vacation to France. A lot of people don't speak English there. So when you meet somebody that speaks English or somebody that's from the US, it is like the best thing in the world because you can understand what they're saying. So you've got to think about it that in the same perspective with Instagram. When you have something in common with them, you just like them so much more.
I'm gonna, and the last question is my husband's here, so I'm gonna let him kind of ask it. But one thing that we get the most of a lot, especially with women that we sign up, I know for me, is a lot of times they'll sign up like you said, and they won't. I know you said you signed up your husband without him knowing, but a lot of women we get will sign up and say, "My husband doesn't know what I'm doing." So I'm gonna let you take it from there.
So I think you just asked the question, but so first of all, I just really appreciate you sharing your knowledge with us. A little bit of a side note, we definitely saw you and your husband on the cruise in the gym, and I was like, "Hey, babe, that's Jocelyn," and so we were a little bit star shy and didn't say anything, but just appreciate you sharing your knowledge with us. But we get this question asked a lot from our team, and I'm sure others do. And I was scrolling through the people that were on tonight, and they're very, very few men. So there are some, ultra successful men in this business. And I guess I wanted to get some tips and tricks and, your knowledge on, how to get the men, to stand behind their wives, chasing after their dreams and just backing them and supporting them and just, getting a glimpse of what vision they have. And, I caught it early on, at the beginning. I was like, I don't know what you're thinking. Like, we make a really good income. You want to quit your job. And 2 months later, I quit my job. And she saw the vision. I trusted her. I jumped on board. But that's not ideal whatsoever.
Right.
So I just kind of wanted to, tap into you and, maybe you can answer for your husband a little bit. What did it take for him to back you and jump on board and things like that?
Okay, so a few things come to my mind. It's funny, and this is a cool example, and it will give you, those of you that are trying to promote this month, it'll give you hope. March of 2014, that was the month that I went diamond, and I was posting in one of this group pages that I was in, and I asked the question saying like, hey, my husband or my fiance is super skeptical. He thinks this is not a reliable source of income and that I need to get a real job. What do I do? And I specifically remember Joel Dunn commented on this post and he said, Jocelyn, you just keep working because in 90 days you are going to be making more money than him and he's not going to care. And so I was like, okay, that's what I'm going to do. And so even though he was super skeptical, and it was to the point, like he would bring me home job applications or he'd tell me like, hey, this eye doctor needs a receptionist, you should go apply to it. And so and the funny thing is on the 21st of that month, I was about $2,100 in group volume and like 2 distributors away from promoting to diamond. And I promoted 6 days later on the 27th. So for those of you that think that you are too far away and that it's not looking good, you can do it. Say a prayer and work hard because Heavenly Father will bring those people in that all of a sudden order 134 BV and like, yes, it happened. And then the next thing is we got married in May. My husband was still skeptical even though I was a diamond and he was an emerald and we were bringing in about $3,000 a month. Still didn't care for the business. That summer I was working very hard. Like I was posting and on my phone adding people and messaging people from 6 a.m. until midnight every day. I was a workaholic over that summer, but we also went from diamond and emerald to double diamond and diamond. So it was worth it. But one thing that really helped us was taking the 5 love languages test. I don't know if you guys have heard of that, but basically, if you search 5 love languages on Google, you can pull that up and have you and your spouse or your significant other take that. And it's going to tell you how to show them that you love them. And that's something that Taylor felt neglected in. He is someone that's very physical touch and very quality time. And I wasn't giving him enough of that for him to feel loved. And once he felt loved, he didn't care what I was doing because he was good. His love was full. And then the next tip I have is get a comma in your paycheck and make sure they see that comma. I wasn't showing him the income. I was just spending it. And so when and this is when we first got married, when I switched so that we had a joint account and he saw the money coming in, he quit whining about it. And I'm telling you, get the comma. And then the very last thing that made the biggest difference was I got Taylor to conference. He went to conference thinking it was going to be lame and boring and that it was basically going to be like a vacation for him. The first night at conference, he rolls over in bed and says, Jocelyn, I can't sleep. I just want to quit my job. I just want to quit school, and I want to do this with you full time. Get your husband or your spouse to a corporate event.
So awesome.
Yeah, that really is cool. Well, that is, I mean, I'm like blown away by all of it. So that's all that we had. Alicia, Chrissy, if y'all have anything else, like, I'm just so thankful for you being, like, you make it sound so simple, and I'm so glad you do, because we, you know, our team, sometimes we overanalyze, we think so much, and we just don't look at the bigger picture.
Right.
And it just makes it, or we think like, okay, we're only, like, you know, we have people on our team that are only Ruby, and then we have these go bonuses, like we're go diamond by May 31st or whatever it is, or March 31st for the people that are already in. And it's such a big, like, I hate to give someone a diamond chart that's only Ruby, because it's like, God, I don't want you to think like that yet. But at the same time, I want you to see the bigger picture. But it's just, it's one day at a time, and you make it real. Like, after me, like, some of the things that I've caught note of, it's just like, it is, like you said, you promoted in 6 days, that you were $2,100 away from diamond, and that made it so doable. And we can't judge the book by its cover, so we have to, like, just go for it. And if you want it bad enough, I mean, to me, that's you have to want it, and you have to work for it. So
yeah. And just one last thing I want to reiterate. I mean, this is how I keep it so straight and simple with my team. Like, we get paid to do 2 things: to sign up customers and to sign up distributors. So anytime you're trying to do something, make sure you always have that in the back of your head. Is this going to help me do that? And then just realize, like, if you can figure out a system of the best way for you to sign up customers and distributors, you just do it again and again and again. But you've got to realize that the way that we get paid to sign up customers and distributors is we have to reach out and talk to people. So posting is not talking to people. You've got to get people to talk to you on social media, and if they don't talk to you, you've got to talk to them. Blitzing, you've got to talk to people. Parties, you're talking to people. Expos, you're talking to people. So just figure out the very best way that it is for you to talk to people, and then just do it again and again and again.
So, well, I'll let Chrissy or Alicia, y'all have anything else?
Yeah. Jocelyn, thank you so much for hopping on, taking time out tonight to talk to us, share your tips and advice. We appreciate it so much. I don't know if Dee had mentioned, like, this is part of like a burst that we started back on January 1st, and we're doing the burst all the way until the end of March, which just so happens to be when everybody is gunning for diamonds. So with that being said, for all of those that are out here, like, watching you and listening to you tonight, if you just had one tip to give them, to offer them, what would that be?
Oh, put me on the spot with one tip. Okay. Especially pushing for these diamond bonuses, make sure you have your chart in front of you every single day. And if you're not charted yet, know exactly how many distributors you need, and whatever that number is, times it by 6, and that's typically how many loyal customers you'll need. Knowing exactly how many distributors and customers you and your team need to get before March 31st makes the world of a difference, because then you can say, okay, if I want to reach my goal and go diamond by March 31st, that means I need to sign up 2 customers a week, or 1 distributor every 3 days, or whatever it is. And that's going to help you keep on track. And then you know that you've got to talk to enough people to where you're hitting those goals. And if you don't hit it the first time, okay, I've probably got to double my efforts and talk to more people the next time. And so I think if you have that game plan, and you have that chart in front of you every day, and you know how many customers and how many distributors you and your team together need to get, then that's where the magic is going to happen.
Yes, I love that. So simply just take that goal and just break it down. I love it. All right, Thank you again so much. Dee, thank you. Jocelyn, you rocked it. We appreciate you so much. I'm so glad that we recorded it. Everybody's going to just love this. So I think that's it. So if we just want to go ahead and stop the recording.